What's up, guys? Welcome back. Look where we are. We are in the shop, man. Home shop. I've not been in here for a while. I feel like I've been being lazy, but I've been working on the white truck at the shop. Been doing a lot of snowmobiling and just kind of some other stuff. I'm always busy. I'm always doing something, whether or not I'm making videos for you guys. Never a slow time for me right here. But we're back in the shop and we are gonna do something pretty fun. You might have seen it by the title of this video. But we'll get right into it. So what I got here is a bunch of heim joints. And these are all from Rough Stuff Specialties. I got these a while ago. And they've just been sitting. And we're going to build some control arms. We're going to be building them for the brown truck, Cowboy Cadillac. And we're also building some for the race truck. So probably not going to do them for the race truck tonight because it's not as big of a priority. There's a lot of stuff going to be getting done to that thing. But the brown truck is going to be getting these. I want to get these arms in it. Since I level it, pulled the axle back, really bugs me. Plus the bushings are just worn out and trash. So kind of drives, you know, like a second gen. So trying to get rid of that. Got some new tires for it. Putting those on. And I want to get these arms on. And just kind of get a little more dialed in since I'm using it as my rig right now. So I got some tubing here. And this is 1.5 inch quarter wall. So this stuff's pretty thick. And for the race truck, when we get into it, we'll be using this stuff. And this is 1.25 inch 120 wall. So thinner. Definitely can feel a weight difference, but that doesn't need to be as strong for this thing because it's just, you know, gonna be going on the drag strip, not gonna be seeing a bunch of stress. With these, you never know, hitting bumps, off-roading, going through the snow, or just whatever life throws at it, daily driven. So we want those things to be beefy. So let's get right into it. The first thing we're gonna do is, since the race truck and the brown truck are, you know, the same, we're gonna measure, start down here, but I'm gonna measure these lower arm. And then the upper arm, I'm gonna get a length, and that way I can know how long to make my tubing. So I got my measurements. Lower arm is 18.5, upper arm is 17.25. So I'm saying that on camera so I can remember it. Next time I need to do the race truck, I won't gotta measure those ones. So I put a little note here. And what I'm gonna do on the brown truck is I'm gonna run the heims all the way in, and that's gonna be stock length. So as far in as they'll go, I'll do 18.5, 17.25. That way I can run it stock, lowered, because you can run them lower with stock length arms and it's fine. But then if I go up, leveled 4 inches or so, I can really thread those heims out and get like another inch and a half of length out of the control arms and push that axle where it needs to be so it all looks right. So that's the goal for that. On the race truck, I'll make them a little shorter than stock. I'll kind of run the heims in the middle so I have full range of adjustment, but I won't need that much because we're not going to be changing heights. So I'm going to measure these heims when they're all the way in, and then do the math and figure out how long to cut our tubing. All right, so as you can see, if we go from the center of the heim joint, see if you can see this, center of the heim to the base of the tube adapter nut, we're 2.25. If you guys see that approximately. So that means we are 4.5 inches. So I can cut the bottom tubes at 14 inches. And that'll give us 18.5 total, and the top will be a little less. So I went ahead and marked our tube here at 14 inches. I'm gonna throw it in the chop saw, and then once I cut it, I will put this piece up next to it so I can make it exactly the same in the chop saw. And then we'll have our two lower arm tubing cut and ready to go. All right, so we got all 4 arms, the tubing cut. These are the lowers, these are the uppers. These ones ended up being 14, and these ones are 12.75, which will put us at 17.25 and 18.5 as long as I'm doing my math right. So first, let's start on the lowers. So we got our tubing here, and we have 2 heims. So this one's a right-hand thread, this is a left-hand thread here. That way you'll be able to rotate it and adjust it in or out. So I'm gonna get these things slid in here and we'll get them tacked. So both the heims are in. I tried to get them kind of clocked the same way so that when they're all the way adjusted in, they'll both be bottomed out. So now I'm just gonna throw a tack on each of these so that it'll stay put. One there. and one there. So as you can see, we're using the old MIG gun here. We did actually get a new TIG machine, the same one Michael has, because I borrowed Mikey's when I did the back half on the race truck. Really liked it. So we got one of our own, but it's at the shop in Gridley and haven't got it unboxed yet or whatever. But this is just the brown truck. We're just gonna MIG it. It's gonna be fine, but when we do the race truck ones, we'll definitely be TIGging those. So I'm gonna get all these set up and tacked, and then we're gonna pull these heim joints out because you don't wanna weld them with the heims threaded in. They could seize up in the threads. So gonna get these tacked, get all the heims pulled out, and then we'll weld them up. So there it is. All 4 arms, 2 uppers, 2 lowers. Got all the tube adapters tacked in there. And I'm getting ready to burn these things in. So I'm gonna do like halfway here, flip them around halfway, let them cool off, do the other ones. I don't wanna get too much heat in these. So let's get burning. All right, so these things are halfway welded. Got one side here, one side there. They're not the gangsters looking welds, but they're not bad. They're gonna work just fine under that greasy old thing. I'm gonna let these things cool off for a little bit, and then I'm gonna finish weld them. We'll thread the heims in, and they'll be done, besides maybe a little paint. All right, there it is. Got them all MIG'd up. Threw the heims in this one. And there you have it. That's the lower arm there, done. And that's about an hour and a half's worth of work. And so yeah, these arms, not very expensive. You got about 60 bucks in joints for each one. So, and then probably about 8 bucks in tubing. So we'll say 70 bucks an arm. So 280 to have some adjustable control arms. Not bad, in about an hour and a half of work. But I got a girl and a hot tub waiting for me. So I'll see you guys at the shop and put these things on. You can see we got the brown truck up there. There's a white truck, obviously. Now that you guys see it, still over there, torn down. So the old brown truck's the rig now. Snow rig. Got the sled deck on her. Getting her ready. But these ain't gonna do the trick. These are not gonna work. They don't look that bad, honestly. It's honestly against my beliefs. I normally run tires way longer than these. I mean, these are basically brand new to me, but since we're going to some freaking deep powder, I want to make sure I got me some good treads. So got me some cheap tires. I got the boys bringing them up here and loading them up. I'm gonna take them to the tires. Oh yeah, this is definitely a waste of money. Look at this. I got like almost the same amount of tread. Oh well. You live and you learn. Make bad financial decisions. It's okay. I should have bought a long bed. Oh wait. Got me a load here. Fresh treads on the forces. Let's get these things unloaded and bolt them up. There they are. Got some fresh treads. It's funny because I don't know if I like these. I kind of like the look of the old tires. You know, they had a little bit more, a little more stretched look to them. These, for being a 1250, these are pretty wide. But maybe it's just that they got more treads. They look a little taller, but it'll be cool. Nice to have some tread and feel a little safer. All right, finally getting a chance to put these arms on. So got the brown truck pulled out here. We got it cleaned up, so it's looking decent. And we also got these arms, as you guys saw, did a little spray can action on them. So they're actually looking pretty good. They don't look homemade like they really are. So I'm gonna start getting these arms off and we'll see how they go on. We'll also get a little side shot so we can see how the axle sits now, and then we will put those arms on and then give it a visual and see how if it looks better. All right, got this one out, and look at what we're replacing with, man. Doesn't that just look so much nicer? These things were seen better days, so let's get it in. So I went to the hardware store and just now realized that I got 2 different size bolts. So that is just great. But anyways, I had to go get some 9/16 bolts, because on this truck, since it is a 98, so from 94 till 99, they ran 12mm upper bolts and 14mm lower, which is essentially a 1/2 inch and a 9/16, so that's gonna work. Now, if you have a 2000 or newer, you're gonna have like a 14mm on top and a 16mm on the lower. But since this is older, it's still got the smaller bolts. So the stock ones we're gonna use, we got the 9/16 here for the lower. And then since these arms are obviously gonna be narrower even with the misalignment spacers, we gotta just stack some washers. So this is the difference between, you know, some homemade stuff, and when you spend the big bucks on the nice kit, they're gonna have the spacers that are the correct length. But for me, I'm cool with stacking some washers and saving some money. Another note is, since we're getting rid of the camber bolt, the caster bolt, we're going to be replacing it with a regular bolt and nut, so I went ahead and ground the paint off. So I'm just going to put a regular washer there, and once I get it in place, I'll just do a couple tacks on it to hold it in place. And that way there'll be no adjustment on the axle, it'll all be done through the heims. Okay guys, finally got them in. Only on one side though. It took me just as long to put them on one side as it did to build all of them. But if you guys ever mess with control arms on a Dodge, you know they're not always the quickest thing to do. But we got them on here. We fire up a little flashlight action here. And man, they sure do look, they just do look a lot nicer in there. And I got them adjusted out. Gave us a little length, so now if we scoot back, the axle's definitely not back anymore. It's actually a little farther forward, but I'm kind of a fan of that. So I'm gonna get the other side done, installed tomorrow or the next couple days. And then I got some more suspension work I want to do. I'm probably gonna build an adjustable track bar because the axle's pulled over since we lifted it up a little bit. So I'll get that done, and then maybe we'll go for a little test drive, make sure it's driving better. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you like these budget control arms, you know, they're cool, they work. You could do them yourself. Some heim joints, a MIG welder, and some tubing, quick measurement, and you got it done. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Drop a comment down below if you think it's cool, if you like this kind of stuff. Subscribe if you're not already, it really helps me out, I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next one.